Back on Sports Night Radio Live at 40 Eglinton Avenue East at Boston Pizza, along with Ashley, Julie, Bix, and the Weasel, Marciello. And today we're going to talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs. Remember them? Yeah, they haven't been in the playoffs in, 3 years, 4 years? We're going to have to re-educate people in the city of Toronto on how to go to sporting events and to watch, NHL playoffs.
They had a team last year?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't notice.
Actually, surprising. Their team last year was better than the team the year before with all the stars on it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs. What is going to happen in the offseason? We have Brian Burke coming out basically saying he's going to do anything and everything to get the number one pick because he wants Tavares big time on his team. Luke Shen, there's been rumors about him getting shopped around. Also rumors about Caberlet. Caberlet, I think, is a more realistic deal that he's going to get shopped. But I do think that Luke Shen is a guy that you never know. I mean, Brian wants John Tavares big time. So we're going to start this off with the two biggest Maple Leaf freaks right beside me here. We got the blondie and the dark blondie over here. So Ash, first of all, explain to me why you're a Toronto Maple Leafs fan.
Because I live in Toronto. If you can't represent your own team, sorry, I don't know where you're going to get support from, but you got to support your own team.
So if you move to Vancouver, you're going to support Vancouver then?
No, I'm a native Torontarian. I need to support my own team. So that's why I'm definitely a Leafs fan. And
you got to represent. Yeah.
I guess so.
Yeah, the momentum behind the Leafs is just amazing. Like,
what, Leafs Nation?
Yeah, but what?
Stop it.
You want him to win because you're going to have a big party in Toronto. Admit it.
No,
You guys
but
are all they're all bandwagon fans.
The original
No.
six, there's so much love for the Leafs. They've been around for so long. There's so much love for them, and they still have a sold out.
Only in Toronto there's so much love
No, there's
for them.
not. No,
Yes.
there's not. And there's a sold out stadium every single game, and they're still not winning?
Yeah.
Come on, there's love there.
The reason why no one likes the Leafs is because no one likes Toronto if you're not in Toronto. That's why no one likes the Leafs. All right, they haven't been doing well, but I remember a couple years ago, before the lockout, when the Leafs actually did quite well in the playoffs, coming down here at Yonge and Eglinton, and everyone was crazy. And I think if the Leafs made it into the Stanley Cup Finals, this city would literally be torn apart.
That's what I'm saying. You guys want to have your big party. I'd say
More than
80% of the
that.
fans
It's
are
not just the
bandwagon.
party.
Yeah, no, it's because of that. You guys don't
No,
even know how.
if you're not a fan now,
guys don't even
if
know
you're
how.
not a fan
No.
now, then if you're not a fan now,
Right?
then how can you be a fan later when they
Yeah.
become? There are
There's
so
no
many
one's a
fans now.
What I'm
bandwagon
saying is
Leafs
you guys are
fan.
not real fans. You guys
Why?
just want to, it's like, yeah, you want to go to a
No,
bar.
if I wasn't a
you
real
wanna
fan,
watch
I
the
could
Leafs.
fan.
No, if I wasn't a real fan,
They won through their losing years.
if I was not a real fan, I would not be here supporting them when they're losing. You're not a real
Supporting them
fan
how?
when
I'd
you
be
do
going
jump on the
to
How are you
bandwagon
supporting
when
them?
they are
What are you
losing.
doing? By going to the games?
I'm watching every game.
Oh,
that I
you
can.
can't
You want to watch the other
Games.
teams. You want to watch Crosby. You want to watch the other teams. You don't really
I
want to
wanna
watch the
watch
Leafs.
Crosby.
Let me ask you a
They're a
simple,
poor
simple
product.
question.
Why would you want to watch the Leafs?
During the past 3 years, do you believe that if you've been paying for Leafs TV, you should get a refund? Yes or no?
No.
Okay, yes or no?
No.
Well, what for? It's a
You're still
Jody
watching
Matthews
hockey.
is amazing.
What do you mean? I want to
Still
watch.
watching hockey.
I want to watch.
But they're one of the only.
Hey,
They're the only team that. Well, one of the only teams that sells private pay-per-views.
What do you mean? I love watching comedy. Getting them beat up all the time. Are you kidding? I've waited too many years for the Leafs having all those good teams and go Leafs go. You know what? Gone Leafs gone. I don't want to hear it anymore. I
Okay,
despise
okay.
the Leafs. Leaf
Let's
fans.
talk.
Alright.
See you
Starting,
later.
starting with Jules. I don't call you Jules, but Julie, Miss Banks. Let me ask you a question. Who on the current roster will be there starting next year? Because we know Burke. He's
The
gonna,
trainer.
Yeah. He hasn't done a good job. So.
I honestly think Luke Shen's going to stay because,
Okay.
he's had a great rookie season. And, throughout all the rumors of, Brian Burke with the Lightning, I don't think it's going to happen, but I also don't think that Burke would admit to any sort of trade deals right now. So really, anything's up for grabs, and I just don't know if it really isn't worth it to give up so much for Tavares.
So
right
you're
now.
you're saying that the only person who has to stay on the Leafs is Luke Shen.
Yeah, I think that's the only person who could legitimately stay on.
We want to
even
build a
though-
team around him because he's a solid core defenseman and he's going to be.
Yeah,
one.
and Burke says no one's safe, so I think he's actually the only person who is safer than others.
Because he's
right
got
now.
definite value.
Yeah.
What about you, Ash?
Well, I think Brian Burke is going over the top by thinking that we're going to get John Tavares here. I think John Tavares is a very overrated player. I think to give up 3 or 4 picks for him, we're going to be back where we were 3-4 years ago. We need to start building the team. We need to get the young players here. We need to get rid of all these old players that are taking our team down, get some fresh feet underneath us where they can actually build a team and take us somewhere.
Well, right now, the Toronto is. They're a very young team, and some of their guys on their team, like Toskala and some of Kabina, some of those guys, I would agree with you, are kind of in the older parts of their career or midway parts of their career. I just don't know. I can't see Pavel Kabina being part of the Toronto Maple Leafs. He has value, and if I was Brian Burke, I would use that value to get maybe 1 or 2
But-
picks. They couldn't get much for any
But
of
it
these
all
guys.
depends on what you're
What
trying
about
to do.
Caberlet?
If they're, are they
Caberlet is very affordable, and Caberlet will not be a Toronto Maple Leaf next year.
No.
I don't
Guarantee
think
will
so
not.
It all
because you can
depends
get
on the
something
direction
good
they're
for
going to
Caberlet.
take. If
Yeah.
they're in a rebuilding stage, then yeah, you got to go with the
Yeah.
youth. And you guys are talking about Luke Shen, this, Luke Shen. No, you know what? I'm not saying not to keep him. He's a very good young player. But you know what? It depends what the trade is. If you can step up and trade for like a Crosby type player, we don't know what kind of player Tavares is going to be. But if you can, why wouldn't you include a package with Luke Shen? And you know what? I'm sorry. Other than Luke Shen, whatever else the Leafs have, it's not that great.
No.
Well, let's talk
So
about
if
some of
you-
the names that have been floating around that could come to Toronto. We're talking about the Sundin twins. Now, this is
The Sedin
Sedin
twins,
twins.
yeah.
Excuse me. Same thing. Sundin, Sedin. The rumor is Brian Burke obviously has a relationship with them that these two guys could be. They're only coming as a package, right? So they could be in Toronto Maple Leaf uniforms next season.
I give a thumbs up to that.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Definitely. You
Oh,
get
that
2
would
players.
be-
Okay, you have to pay them a little bit more, 12, 13 million for both of them. You get 2 players, though, that can put in 160 points a year. One can't play without the other, but when they play together, they're unstoppable.
Yeah,
so I think
they're
it's
phenomenal.
definitely
Yeah.
that would be a good option.
Well,
for-
right now they'll take anybody. They don't have anybody of like top caliber. They don't. Who do they really have? Luke Shen is probably their best player, and he's a young prospect. They have no top-notch guy. The good thing with the Leafs is, you know what? I despise them. I hate them. But they're doing it the right way. They're signing those college prospects like Tyler Bozak and Christian Hansen. They're going after the big goaltender Jonas Gustafsson, the 24-year-old, the monster, the 6'3" goalie from Sweden. It's not costing them anything, so Brian Burke knows how to get the job done. You got a plethora of the young little stars playing over there. You got some guys in the minor leagues, but they have to get some bona fide players. The salary cap is there, and they have a lot of movement, a lot of room to bring in players. They got Toskala, he's okay goal. He was hurt last year. He'll rebound. I mean, Justin Pogge. The only good thing
No,
about
if he's
Justin
healthy,
Pogge is
he'll come back.
Pogge. If you want to play
Yeah.
pro line and you want to take the over, like 5 goals and stuff, that's the only good thing he's for. So they got to get Gustafsson or somebody else in there. You know what? You got to rebuild, man. You had your years. But you got to do it the right way. But the one scary thing is Brian Burke. I don't know what it is about him. It's like he has blackmail on the other managers. This guy somehow finds a way to get these deals going that really benefit the teams he's going for. And these trade rumors that I hear now, like for Ryan Malone and all that, I don't know why he's even considering anything like that unless it benefits your team.
Well, Ryan Malone's a gritty guy, and Burke,
No, he is,
Berkey
but-
loves these gritty guys, right? And he had a bad season in
did,
Tampa
but-
Bay. So that type of thing could be an option. I just want to know, I think Toronto needs to get those guys. They need to get 1 or 2 more defensemen, quality young guys, big guys. They also need
guys.
to get some really grindy forwards.
Yeah.
One forward that I really like in Toronto right now, John Mitchell. I like him a lot. He's big. He's got soft hands, and he's a skilled guy, and he's proved that he can play. One of the guys you got to get rid of Toronto is Grabowski. Nothing but trouble. I don't think Berkey wants him. I don't think Grabowski will be back.
Why would you get rid of a 20-goal scorer?
Why?
Yeah, you don't get rid of
Oh, I
players
think
like
Brian
that.
Burke is still looking at him, but it's whether or not the fact they want to pay him $3.5 million to stay
Yeah.
there.
What about Jason Blake?
Yeah.
Jason Blake's a
He's good.
He's overpriced. He's overpriced.
He's
He's
overpriced.
overpriced,
If you
but
can trade him, get rid of him.
he brings people to the games. It's Jason Blake. I mean,
Wow.
he is a great player too.
If your product is Jason Blake to bring
no, but
people
he's
to
a
the
name.
game, you got
I'm not
a
saying
big
he's
problem.
a product. I'm not saying he's the best player on the team,
No,
but
you
he's
gotta
something
know.
that people would want to go watch.
If you're gonna rebuild, get rid of like Kubinas, like you said.
Kubina and
Maybe
Caberlet.
Toskala, depending on whatever other goaltending you have. Your other high-priced guys, just get rid of them and just rebuild. Like just.
Yeah.
You got to take those lumps, even if it's for 2-3 years. What are you going to do?
Who do you think is going to be the backup goalie for Toronto next year? Do you think they're going to keep around?
No,
Mr.
it'll be
Gerber?
somebody we don't know of yet.
Really?
Gerber. No.
I don't know. That's a tough one. But I think, with management, Brian Burke, Ron Wilson, it's going to help them. Like, things are going to change. I know we've been in a slump for so many years now, but I've just got faith that, maybe next year I'll be cheering in the playoffs for the Leafs. And I think that this is the best bet right now.
Hey, everybody
20
can dream.
seconds left. Let me ask you a question.
It'll be
Will
in your
Toronto,
dreams,
will the
though.
Maple Leafs, will they make the playoffs next year, yes or no?
Are you crazy? No.
Okay, so obviously no.
Heck
Will they
no.
make it next year?
Yes, they will.
Will they make it next year?
Go Leafs, go.
I'm going to agree. I'm going to say, just like a lot of other teams, they're going to surprise somebody next year,
Oh,
and they will make
God.
the playoffs next year. You heard it
You
here
guys
on
even know
Sports Night
sports?
Radio. March is drunk right now. We'll see you soon on Sports Night Radio.